Hello and welcome to Digilish. I'm Chris, your teacher, and today's topic is a continuation from the last video, regular nouns. Now, before we begin, make sure that you have a pen and paper to take notes with. If you don't, or you need more time to write, remember that you can pause the video at any time. There are also subtitles available for all my videos, so make sure to turn on CC or closed caption to access them. Ready? Good. In the last lesson, we talked about regular nouns and the noun plus S rule. There are 4 exceptions to this rule, but they are still considered regular nouns, and today we are going to talk about them. That sounds a bit difficult, doesn't it? Well, don't worry, it's not really as hard as it sounds. Here is a list of the 4 different exceptions. We will cover them one at a time. The 4 exceptions are nouns ending with a Y, nouns ending with an F, nouns ending with an O, and finally, nouns ending with an S sound. Let's begin with the nouns ending with a Y. When a noun ends with the letter Y and has a consonant before it, that is, second to last, the Y becomes IES, ease. The 3 examples I picked for this are baby, which becomes babies, fly becoming flies, and puppy becoming puppies. Notice that they all have a consonant before the Y. In baby, it's the letter B, in fly, it's the letter L, and in puppy, it's P. This is very important. Remember, Y becomes ease if it has a consonant before it. So Y becomes IES if the letter before Y is a consonant. If Y has a vowel before it, it follows the rule of noun plus S. It's always easier to memorize the vowels because there's only 5 of them, 1 for each of your finger on one hand. And the 5 vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. Like I said earlier, nouns that end with a vowel plus Y simply have S added to them. So, for example, boy becomes boys, toy becomes toys, and turkey becomes turkeys. So make sure you look at the letter before the Y. Now we come to the nouns ending with F or FE. If the noun ends in this way, F or FE, it becomes ves, V-E-S. Why is that? Well, try to pronounce wolf with an S at the end. It sounds kind of like a V, doesn't it? Wolves, wolves. There really isn't much else to this rule. If it ends with an F or FE, it becomes ves, V-E-S. Scarf becomes scarves, wolf becomes wolves, and knife becomes knives. The next one is going to be a little bit harder. For this one, it's about the letter O. And some nouns that end with an O have ES added to the end and not just S. Some examples of this are tomatoes, heroes, and potatoes. These are pretty common words and you might have heard them already. However, not all nouns ending with an O follow this rule. In fact, quite a lot of them just follow the normal noun plus S rule. Radios, for example, or pianos. And there's not really any easy way to know. so you have to learn them by heart. So, like I told you in the last video, if you're not sure, just use the noun plus s rule. If you're speaking, no one will hear that you don't know how to spell it, and if you're writing, everyone will understand. And now, the last exception. This one is a little bit tricky. If the noun ends with an S sound, you add the letter E and S to the end. But what is an S sound? Well, S sounds are basically any sound where you press out the air from your mouth and you sound like you're hissing, like you're a snake. Confused? The next slide will make it a little bit easier to understand. Here we have 3 nouns, all ending with an S sound: bus, box, and watch. Hear how the last sounds are a bit similar? S, x, and ch. Watch. These are different letters, but they're pronounced very similar. They are all different S sounds. So, bus becomes buses, box, boxes, and watch, watches. You might have to say the word quietly to yourself if you're doing a test, just to remember if it actually is an S sound. But don't worry about that, because even in the university, students have to do that. So, remember, if you're hissing in the last sound of the word, you are making an S sound. And all nouns that end with an S sound have ES added to them at the end when they are in plural. Not everyone agrees with me that all these are still regular nouns, but at least the way I learned it, they are. Why? Well, regular means that they follow a set rule, and all of these nouns do. First of all, they all still end with an S, just like the nouns plus S nouns. Secondly, there are many nouns for each of these exceptions that follow their own specific rule. They are still regular. And if you say these nouns out loud, you can't hear the difference really. The difference is in the spelling. So, let's rehearse what we learned today. There are 4 exceptions to the noun plus S rule, and they are nouns ending with a consonant NY, like baby, which becomes babies, nouns ending in F or FE, becoming ves, like scarves. Some nouns ending with an O, like tomato, become tomatoes. And finally, nouns ending with an S sound, like watch, which becomes watches. Remember that it is the S sound, including S and X, and other similar sounds, that makes it one of these exceptions. And remember, these are still regular nouns. They follow specific rules, including that they end with an S. If this video was helpful to you, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I will do my best to keep producing instructional videos like this to help you master the English language. If you have any comments or criticism, please write them in the section below. It's really what keeps me going. Also, don't forget to check out the subtitles under closed caption or CC. While all of my videos will be available with both Swedish and English subtitles, I am working on expanding into other languages as well. And that's all for me. Thanks for watching Digital English with me, Chris. Cheerio!